Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. My name is Kim and today I am going to be going through my plans for 2025. So if you've watched my channel before, you might know that usually I make myself some goals for both my business, crochet and sewing. I usually make a bit of a list. I have around 5 goals per category, I guess. And at the end of the year, I go through them and see which ones I've achieved and which ones I haven't. This year, I thought that I would do it a little bit differently. I've been thinking for the last sort of month or so about what goals I want to set myself, and I can't really think of too many that I would be excited to do. So what I've decided to do this year instead is just to make a list of projects that I want to complete. There's not a time limit on them, just at some point during the year. If I don't do them, it's not a big deal. So for this one, there won't be business goals. It will be more projects that I want to crochet and projects that I want to sew. Just as a general theme of the year, I am looking to make more of my own clothes. So as I will go through the separate goals, I will explain a little bit as to why. But one thing that I am quite interested in, as I said, is making more wearables. So whether this is crocheting or sewing, it's something that I would like to focus more on. So to start with, I will go through my sewing projects. So with sewing, one thing that I'm quite looking forward to is going away. So in 2025, I have sort of 2 main holidays that we're looking at doing. One is Italy for me and my husband to go on our honeymoon, and also to go and see my brother in America. So I imagine the temperatures and the weather might be quite different. We haven't booked America yet, so we don't know exactly where we're going or when we're going. It will probably be around June, July time, but again, nothing's booked yet, so weather-wise, I'm not too sure. But for Italy, in April, it should be really nice weather. It should be quite warm, but not too warm. I don't deal with the heat too well. I'm a bit of a wuss in that aspect. But my main goal is to have clothes on that holiday, not all of them, but have quite a few clothes that I can wear that I've made myself. So starting with the first projects that I want to do, I will try and insert a picture. I have a dress that I've probably worn quite a lot on the podcast. I call it my Matilda dress. It's Cath Kidston and it has got Matilda on it. And I wear it all the time because it's a lovely shape and I find it really flattering. I would love to recreate this dress using some vintage material that I got from America a few years ago when I was there. So the first lot of fabric that I have is this dinosaur fabric. And I just think that it's quite a quirky design. Hopefully you can see a little bit. I did keep the label somewhere, but I don't know where it's gone. So yes, I would love to make a long dress with this, and especially to be able to wear it to Italy would be amazing as well. With my other dress, it is also a white material and it's quite see-through, so I just wear a slip underneath. So I don't feel as though this would be a problem with this fabric either. I think it is quite see-through, but rather than having a lining, I'd rather have sort of the dress and then a slip-on. It makes it a bit easier and it makes the fit nicer as well, usually. I do need to rewash this though. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but these used to be bed sheets. So the middle is a little bit more discoloured than the outside. They are clean, but yeah, obviously where people sleep, it does get a bit discoloured without going into grim detail. So I'll have to look up tutorials of how to get them sparkling white again, hopefully. So that's the first one. I think what's put me off so far is not knowing exactly how much material I have, i.e. how long a dress I can make. I don't want to start cutting the material and not have enough to make it, because that would be really upsetting. So that's the first one. The second one, quite similar. These used to be bed sheets as well. These just have little Ditsy flowers on. And I would love to make that into a dress also. It's more of a cream colour. Don't know if I said that's from America, but... So this is the label from the other one. It's from Pottery Barn Kids. Doesn't say what year it was. Oh, 2007, so it's not that vintage. That was for the dinosaur fabric. And then I've just got some more random, so maybe I could use this for the sleeves even. Next is, this material is very floral. I might look to make a dress with it just because I've got more of it. It's quite busy, but I think with several layers, with the design of the dress, it should be okay, but I might have to rethink that. It is inside out, so I think the pattern is a little bit brighter than what is shown on camera. So that's the inside. That's the outside even. But I would love an opinion on whether you think that that will be too busy for a dress, or if you've got any other ideas for it as well. Next, I got this fabric a while ago. It was a remnant and it just really appealed to me. It needs good iron, but hopefully you can see the design on it. It just faces. I would love to make a blouse out of this. The colour is really nice, so it's kind of terracotta, not the pinky kind of colour that it's showing up as. And I'd love to make a button down blouse for myself with a collar, probably short sleeved or mid-length sleeve. I don't have a pattern for it yet, but obviously I will search for patterns. And that would also be really nice to take on holiday as well. I don't know the kind of material it is, if that demonstrates anything at all. It's a really light material. It feels like cotton maybe, like a really thin blousey material, I guess. Next, I'd like to make a little slip dress with this material. Again, the reason I haven't done a lot of these is because I've bought the fabric before the pattern, so a lot of these are offcuts, or they just so happen to be that length of material, and therefore I don't get a choice over how much I get, and therefore the project might be a bit more difficult if I don't quite have enough. But I would love to make sort of a slip dress with this. Try and make it quite flattering as well. This beautiful colour, it's a really light pink. Next is more of a plan that I have got. So I'd love to make some dungarees out of these. So these are corduroy. So this one's corduroy, and it's more of a browner colour than it's coming up on camera. And this one is sort of a corduroy, but very thin corduroy. I would love to make either dungarees or a dungaree dress out of it, because I've wanted corduroy dungarees for years. I actually bought this probably about 3 or 4 years ago. It's been in my pile to make something with it, and I just haven't. So I just need to get around to doing it. I've literally got the hardware, the like the buckles as well. I just haven't made it. Again, I think so far making my own clothes has been a bit daunting. It's put me off a little bit because sizes have to be exact. Whereas if you're making a bag or making a toy or something like that, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't impact too much if it's not the right size. Whereas clothes, it does. You can spend hours working on something and it might not fit, which is a little bit upsetting. And then just lastly, with my clothes goals, there are a lot of pieces that I made either last year or the year before where they don't fit quite right, and I want to rectify that so that I actually wear the clothes that I've made. So for example, I made a skirt and the fabric is quite thick, so it sticks out rather than flowing. So I would like to make the skirt more fitted so that it looks nicer and I'm more tempted to wear it. I have got pyjama trousers that are way too big. Like one leg is the size of my hips. Don't know how that happened because I did use a pattern, but I need to unpick that and redo it because I don't wear them, because they just don't make me feel good, because they're just so big. And I'm sure that there's more things that I can't think of at the moment, but those are the main ones that I want to get fixed. I will maybe do a video about it, and what I will try and do as well, when I am making the clothes, I will try and make a video for each of those as well, just in case you're interested, and it will be nice to document the process as well and sort of push me to finish more clothes. Next are my crochet projects that I would like to finish in the year 2025. So sticking with the theme of making my own clothes, there's a few that I would like to do, and these are all in my planned projects at the moment. The first one is the Amelie sweater. It's a Hobie pattern by Miss Beetle. I have already picked out some yarn that I would like to use for it. The yarn I have got is, I thought I'd already picked out some yarn for it, but now I'm questioning myself. So there's 2 lots of yarn that I would really love to use this year to make sweaters or jumpers out of. Jumpers or cardigans, sorry. So the 2 lots of yarn that I would really love to use. I've got Wool and the Gang yarn in this lovely pale blue colour. It is so beautiful, and I've got enough to make a jumper or a cardigan out of. And I've got some beautiful yarn from my mother-in-law from a couple of years ago maybe, that I would love to use again this year. I've got enough to make a sweater or a cardigan out of, so I don't know in which way I'm going to use the yarn, which one will be the jumper, which one will be the cardigan, but I will match it somehow. I will have to work out the yarn needs for the patterns. So as I said, the Amelie sweater by Hobie by Miss Beetle. It needs 16 balls of yarn, fingering weight yarn. I just find it really pretty. It's a free pattern as well, and it is worked, it looks as though it's worked up and down. It's really nice. I think it would look really good with like a tight skirt or something more fitted on the bottom, because it doesn't look as though it's a fitted jumper. But that is good in a way, because it means firstly it should be easier to crochet and construct. Secondly, it doesn't matter too much about gauge and getting the sizing right, because as I've mentioned before, my clothes sizes go up and down. So with this one, where I don't have to make it exactly to my measurements, it should be good. The next one that I have had on my list for a while is the, I think it's called the Ecru cardigan or Eriu cardigan. It's a pattern by Crochet with Carrie. It's an online pattern, and the cardigan just looks so nice. It looks quite easy to construct. It uses semi-simple stitches, and it just looks gorgeous. So I would love to make that, and I think at the moment I'm leaning more towards using my mother-in-law's yarn for this pattern, but we shall see. And the last one that I haven't actually got on my list yet is a shirt that I've seen quite a lot. It's crocheted and it's in waves. I am sure that I have yarn that I can use that with or make it with, but I haven't planned exactly what yarn I'm going to use for it yet. Maybe it can be a bit of a stash buster, or I'm sure that I've got enough yarn in my stash, or maybe I can use some hand-dyed yarn. That would be really exciting. But yes, I need to purchase this pattern because it's been on my list for quite a number of months, and it will be beautiful as well. The next projects I have are some other projects that I have that are more accessories than wearables. So I bought a kit from Lottie and Albert, the Curate crochet box, to make the dotty bag. I've had that in my stash for a while, and I just want to make it and sort of get it out of my list to make. The next one is some mittens. I got this pattern from, so this is a pattern by Ria Sakshi, and they're called the Firecracker gloves. If you have a look on Ravelry, you will be able to find them. And the yarn that I'm going to use for that is hand-dyed yellow yarn that is by, I haven't got the yarn in front of me, so I will try and pop in a comment of what yarn that I want to use. It's called a custard cream colourway because of the colours of it, so I would love to use that. The next wearable that I've got on my list is the Kevin knitted hat. This is a pattern by Rosie's Moments. I have knitted one thing before and I struggled a bit, so I feel this might be a bit adventurous for me, but I love the pattern. So I'll see whether I can do that. And the last wearable that I would love to make is the Cordelia shawl. The yarn that I would like to use for that is the Summerlight yarn by Rowan. I have got it in the cream and a light purple colour, so I don't know how exactly I would make that work, but I would. It's 100 grams as well, so again, if I've got any more details of the yarn I'm going to use, I'll pop them here. And then the rest of the projects are really just amigurumi. So recently it's been Christmas and I was gifted some Toft amigurumi kits by my grandparents. So just to go over the ones that I've got, currently I'm working on Charles Darwin that I got from a recent event that I went to. I have got a video on that if you are interested in watching it. So he is a work in progress, and again, I want him to be done this year. The next amigurumi kits I haven't started yet, so I've got the mini Trigger the T-Rex. I've got the mini Fuchsia, the mini Daisy, the mini Rose, and the mini Tulip. All of those have between 50 and 75 grams of yarn. I believe the T-Rex only has 25 grams. I'm guessing that clearly he doesn't need a lot of yarn, and possibly with the other flowers they only need a little bit of yarn, and it's only because the flowers need multiple colours that I've got much more yarn. One that I have already bought a couple of years ago is the Foxglove. So I bought the book and I've bought the kit for the Foxglove. So I've got 75 grams of green and 50 grams of magenta. I think that's definitely a pattern that I would love to get done this year. I don't know exactly when. That would be a personal project, the same as the T-Rex, the Fuchsia, and possibly the Daisy might be a gift for someone. The mini Rose and the mini Tulip, my plan is to make them for my husband for our anniversary. And the reason that I will be doing that is because he had 2 crocheted flowers in his top pocket when we got married. Unfortunately, these got lost and no one returned them, although I think that they were taken by someone. I am looking to replace those, and the Toft kits just look really cute, so I'll be making those in the same colours, and again my plan is to give them to him for our 1-year wedding anniversary, so they will hopefully be quite special. I'm hoping because they're smaller they won't take as long as well. They look fairly straightforward, but obviously I haven't done one before, so I don't know exactly how long they will take. So another thing that I did get from Toft is this pattern, which is Muriel the dog. He is a guide dog, and there was a donation to the guide dogs with this kit. He looks really cute. He is another one that I would like to get done, and again I don't know exactly how long he will take, but hopefully not too long, maybe a day or a couple of days. If someone else has done it, you might be laughing at me now because that was very adventurous. But I think if I can sit down and just go through it, it shouldn't take too long. And apart from that, those are the projects that I've got for crocheting and for sewing. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. It will be really interesting to come back to this in either 3 months or 6 months time and just see which ones I have actually completed. I'm also looking forward to, at the end of the year, again coming back to this and seeing which patterns I finished, which ones I changed my mind on, because it's completely possible, and which ones I am still working on maybe. So yes, going into 2025, I have got one work in progress, which is my Charles Darwin doll. He will hopefully be finished by the end of January, but we shall see because he has a lot of stitches. For any stash related goals, so if you've been keeping up with my Stashdown 2024, if you keep an eye out for my next video, which will be released in January, for a Stashdown update for the 1-year anniversary. Then I will be discussing any stash related goals in that video. But again, I think I will keep it quite calm and easy, because without going into too much detail, I think I would like to focus more on what yarn I use rather than what I have in my stash, because that makes more sense to me. Because as I've said before, any unused yarn from projects goes back into my stash. So although I'm using a lot of yarn, it looks as though my stash is growing because there's yarn that I haven't used from the works in progress, which makes me feel slightly as though I'm wading through mud. I'm never going to sort of achieve my goals because I'm working against something that's slightly impossible to keep up with, if that makes sense. But again, I will go into that in more detail when I do my next Stashdown video, which will be in January, the first couple of weeks I envision. So that's it for my 2025 project goals. If you have any comments or you've got any of your own, I would love to hear them if you pop them in a comment below. Apart from that, if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe or like this video. Feel free to get in touch. My contact details are below, including my Etsy shop. And apart from that, I hope that you are having a lovely day, whether you're watching this on the 30th or whether you are watching this in the new year. I look forward to speaking to you all soon. All my best. Bye.